So we were just talking about, welcome back.
Hey.
We were just talking about my car buying experience. And let's talk to Mike about his, because his was part and parcel of that industry that we all love with the, kicking the tires.
Oh yeah, the car industry. It's quite the exciting industry. I went much like Don did. I did about a year of research on cars. So I've had my whole life. I've always had trucks and pickups, as I did repair and plumbing and all that stuff. And I've always kind of gone for. I'm a Chevy guy at heart, but lately I've been going for something I've never had before. Every time I get a car, so the last one was a Nissan, which POS. This new one I wanted a Subaru.
Point of sale.
Yeah, piso.
Piso shiznit.
Yeah. I wanted a Subaru because I never had one before. So I started doing research on Subaru, and I found out, good Lord, their resale value is immense. The cars last forever. Very little bad reviews other than too much road noise or stupid things like that, but nothing like the tire fell off in the middle of a freeway or the motor blew up. So I did all this research, and I ended up going to a Subaru dealer out by where I live. And I told the guy from the beginning, I even called them and said, hey, look, I know you don't have a lot of new cars. I went for new. I didn't go for used. The last couple cars I had were used, and they kind of had problems. So I wanted to try a new one. I've only ever had like maybe 2 other new cars in my life. Everything else has been used. And I get there, and so the circus starts. And it really is like a circus, because they're juggling and patting you on the back at the same time. Yeah.
Oops, sorry.
And it's all magical when you walk in, and the little 19-year-old kid who is actually really sweet, but doesn't know anything, and who's not quite smart enough to know that I know that he knows that they're there to screw me, which is like what I find the weirdest about going car shopping, because it's like a polite way to get screwed.
Yes.
Because they're there to screw you for as much money as possible.
Kind of like Animal House when they were spanking them. Ooh, thank you, sir. May I have another one?
It's exactly like that. But this time you bring your wife, so you're both getting spanked at the same time.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
No, I did. So they give me like 4 offers, and they're all ridiculous. Like the first one, and I had a down payment. I had a car to trade in. I had all this to have good credit rating. First, the credit rating thing.
I am so glad you brought that up. So
rating.
they tell you when you're negotiating for a car, the person that speaks first loses. So we'll give you some tips on that too.
Yeah. So first off, they stacked the deck with that too, because there's 3 major credit rating services, right?
Yep.
And so they pick the one that you have the least of. There's always one that you have the least of. And mine was Equifax, and Equifax is a company out of the East Coast. I don't do anything on the East Coast, so I don't know why I would have any credit rating there or whatever. But it's just their opinion. On the West Coast, where I spend all my money and live and all that, I have almost an 800 credit rating. Where according on the East Coast, I have almost a 700 credit rating, which is big difference monthly. So
huge monthly.
So they automatically stack that deck to screw you, and they will not change their opinion. They will not. Well, it's company policy that we pick the one that suits them the best. So you're already, this is what really irritates the living crap out of me. I was yelling and screaming at these guys. I mean, they're poking their heads around corners, staring at me like I'm a nut. But I told them at one point, I looked at them and said, do you guys want to sell a car? There's no one else in here. Why do you keep giving me all these terrible one of them was $900 a month. Who the hell can afford a $900 a month car? The next one was $700 a month. The next one was like $600 a month. And that's when I told them, you got to do way better than this. I got a trade-in. I mean, it wasn't the greatest trade-in. Like, you had a good truck. I had a little Nissan Versa that was filthy dirty. But I bitched and complained so much that they actually conceded and gave me the full value for the car, which I was upside down on anyways. And they finally gave me a monthly amount that wouldn't bankrupt me. But these guys don't care.
Nope.
They don't care. They're not looking after you.
They're
They
looking
don't.
at commission.
They don't. Yeah, they just care about the now. It's just solid greed. It's just pathetic. And I was hoping that I would have a different experience of it. I was hoping Subaru would be a little different, but it's not. It's just the same shit as everybody else. I do love the car. It's a great little car. Crosstrek. I got, except for the room. And it's really nice having the security of a brand new car because the Subarus, man, they just go and go and go. They don't ever really die.
Yep.
But at least, so leasing is different than financing in the sense that you're not really paying into the car. You're just paying for the lease. However, they pay for the repairs. They pay for everything but the tires and brakes, basically. So I like that aspect. In 3 years, if I can come up with a down payment, I can buy another car. So, or flip into that one. I can flip and buy that car. I don't have to come up with a down payment, which I'll probably end up doing anyways. But what about you?
So, well, before I answer that, when Mike was going through his ordeal,
Oh, I called him.
he called me because I know how to haggle a little bit.
And it paid off. It was good. If you want some good advice, get the pen and paper ready, guys.
Yeah, but the thing is always have somebody. Okay, so when you go to buy a car, you can't tell me you didn't go through this. You get that new car feel, you get that new car
you're
smell,
excited.
and you're excited, and they're like, these vultures just
And
like
plus,
circling.
You and I were obsessing over. I mean, you had yours for for 8 months, and I had mine for like a year.
Yep.
By the time I got there was no question.
So
About
we
whether it's walking away.
already knew what we wanted. There was no doubt about it. They weren't going to say, "Oh, well, I know you want this Mustang, but have you looked into the F-150?"
There's this Fiat 500 I want you to get.
We knew what we wanted, right? And so don't get caught up in all that the game that they play.
It's
And
there to
if-
distract you.
Yeah.
It really is.
And if you don't like your salesperson, the vulture that comes down to talk to you, do what I did on Saturday.
Get another one.
I told him, get out of here. And he looked at me, he goes, well, I'm your salesman. I'm like, that means I'm leaving. Goodbye. And he's like, oh, well, let's talk about this. I'm like, I'm done talking to you. You're a snotty little kid, and I don't want to talk to you anymore. Go. And they sent me another dude. His name is Jeremy. Jeremy, man, I talked to you a couple times on text since I bought the car on Saturday. You're awesome. And I hope you sell a gazillion cars because you had customer service, which is something we'll talk about in a little
we
bit.
got to talk about.
So now that I put that all out there, when you go and get a car or you're looking for a car, have somebody. If you're going by yourself, have somebody you can put on speed dial.
You need that backup and the reassurance.
And not only the reassurance, but you need to get out of that element that you're in. The element that you're in is the guy wants to sell.
Well,
You want to buy.
they put you in a little office for a reason to make you feel isolated and alone. And you're there to build that relationship with the little sales guy that's in that office with you. It's like it's almost like a weird study on dating.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden you're forced to have this relationship with someone who has no interest in taking care of you, but only wants your money.
And it's funny going through this process, and I'm sure a lot of people can attest to this. Is you're their buddy.
Yes, you are.
Hey, would you like some soda? Can I refill that Pepsi can for you?
Did they fill your truck with gas?
They did. Yeah.
Subaru did not.
So I bought the Gold Advantage. I bought a certified used car with the Gold Advantage, which means I get this and I get that, and it's a selling bunch of bullshit stuff. So you're their buddy. You're their buddy the whole time, right? And are you comfortable? Is it too hot in here for you? Would you like us to fan you until you? Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit of advice. I did this to you, and the guy's eyes were bleeding. So I work them down on the price. I'm now remember I'm pissed off that
The white one's
The
gone.
white
yeah.
one's gone. So I see this beautiful charcoal looking one. And I was like, I'm not giving you any more than this for the car. And they're like, no, can't do it. I'm like, I'm out of here. And the guy was like, no. The nice guy, Jeremy, was like, let me see what I could do.
They don't want you to go. So if
No.
you could put that out there as many times as you want, I'm leaving. They don't want you to go. So use that to your defense.
But you actually got to start walking to your vehicle.
Yeah, take your key.
Yep.
Go.
And then, so the guy comes over. He goes, "Oh, let's talk about this." Well, but he was really polite. He had great customer service. And again, we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But so I'm over there, and I'm still pissed. But and I'm praying, please get me calm, because my objective is to buy a car. But I'm not locked into this. I drove past probably 44 dealers
You probably did, yeah.
to get down there. So I'm like,
They didn't stop making these cars.
yeah. And there's gazillions more, and I'll probably find a better deal than what I just got.
Yeah, I almost guarantee that now that you bought it,
Yeah.
you'll find, well, wow, that's a much better deal than I got.
So don't be afraid to tell the guy to go pound sand and walk away. If it's not right, it's not right, and don't force it. So I told him I'm not paying any more than this, and he goes, I don't think it's going to happen, and blah, blah, blah. He says, I'll come back. He came back. He says, okay, we got a deal. So I was happy, right?
You get it for a price you wanted?
Yes. But then, of course, you've got the fees, and you've got the registration, tax title registration, destination fees.
They always have a way of screwing you.
So I told him, I'm not paying your destination fee because you got it. Or somebody traded it in.
They can't.
And it's a certified used car.
Yeah.
Destination is from Detroit
to there.
to there. I'm not paying it. So they took out $1,500 off of that.
Wow. But you know what? See, that's the example. They should know that automatically. I'm sure there's probably laws against that.
Yep.
But they don't, and they'll screw you just because you don't know. That's $1,500. I mean, that's an average paycheck or below, or above an average paycheck. So, in a week, or 2 weeks, that's a lot of money, man.
And then they were like, well, this is on top. And I'm like, no, I'm not paying for it. And he goes, well, I can't really. It was a couple of things that they put on after they acquired the car, and I was like, "I'll be back tomorrow." He goes, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Take that crap off, and I'll come back and do the car deal tomorrow."
'Cause you didn't want that.
I didn't want it. So he's like, "Well, we can't take them off the car." I'm like, "Then you just lost the deal."
That's a good hook, though.
Yeah.
I really like that because it works.
Yeah.
I didn't ask for any of that stuff. You gave me a car that was designed by somebody else or by your boss.
Yep.
I don't need that stuff.
Yeah. I didn't want it. I mean, so.
So I don't need the cruise control. I don't need the backup cameras. Take all that stuff off.
Yep.
And then lower the price of the truck.
Yeah. So they said okay. So I got that off, and then I haggled with them, and I told them, you know what, I'm not going to buy the car unless you take $2,500 off the car. And they were like, but we already made a deal. I'm like, I'm not feeling it, just not feeling it. And they're like, we can't. I'm like, thank you. Have a great day. And I got up. And of course, the sales manager goes, where are you going? I'm
they don't want you to
leaving.
go.
I'm going to Galpin, or I'm going to Star, or I'm going to Sunrise, or I'm going to
Power.
any other dealer, wherever. And they're like, well, let's talk about this. I'm like, okay, there's nothing to talk about other than you saying okay. That's the language I'm listening for. If we don't speak the same language, I'm out. So he finally said, okay. So he took the $2,500 off the car. I see now they're going to build it back into the deal anyways with the tax title registration, all that stuff.
Yeah, you're not getting away with anything.
No. So-
But they know that you're not someone to screw with either,
Right.
because you put the rules down.
But I actually ended up getting $5,000 off the car after everything was all done.
Was it more than the white one was supposed to be?
It was like no. Well, I got him down to that price, and once he got down to that price, then I told him to take $2,500 off,
Nice.
which he did. So I got it cheaper, and it's got more bells and whistles than the white car.
It's got all the bells and whistles. It's a beautiful truck.
So but yeah, number one, don't forget, have somebody on speed dial. Stick to your guns because they're there to say. Then with what Mike just said with the credit rating, so there is three. There's Experian, there's Equifax, and then there's
I know, I can remember
the other one.
the other one either. But it's one of the ones that tells me I have good credit.
Yeah, and so I wanted to go to Ford Motor Credit, but here's another little tidbit for you, which I didn't tell you. You could go online and you could go to cargurus.com or you could go to many other
Car websites,
and you could get pre-approved. That's the thing that saved a lot of time is I got pre-approved. So I already knew what my interest rate was going to be before I walked through the door. Worst case.
Yeah.
Now it was up to them. So car dealers, they shop around and banks pay the car dealer to farm you to them.
Yeah.
So
it's not the most deserving like they tell you it is. It's the one that's going to make them the most amount of money.
Right. So
it has nothing to do with your goodwill or benefit, and it's every car dealer. It's not Carvana. It's all of them.
Yep.
They're all that way.
So I go in there and we're haggling. Bam! I come to the bottom line. I'm going to give you X amount of dollars down. Are you going to trade in anything? No, I don't think so. Okay. All right. So then we're going to do this and we're going to do this and we're going to do this. And blah. How's that? I'm like, okay, let me take a picture of this and I'm going to think about this. You can have your, well, I can't give you this piece of paper. You can't? Why not? Well, because we're going to put it in your packet. I'm like, I'm taking a picture of it. What do you need a picture of it for? Because this is what you told me I'm going to pay for the car.
Because it's in writing.
Right. So I take a picture of the thing. They were not very happy.
Yep.
But I took a picture.
Because once it's in writing, it's promised.
So here's how I got them. So they got everything done and they're like, all right, we're going to run. Oh, and do not let them run your credit.
Oh yeah.
Until
the hard run, yeah.
Until you have reached a price. Okay, that's the most I don't know, the most important piece of this whole pile.
The auto guys don't care if it affects your credit bad. Matter of fact, they like it because their credit rating is going to be lower.
It's going to drop, yeah.
So the minute you walk in, the first thing they want to do is just run your credit.
Because they want to see what kind of payment they're going to do and how desperate you are for that. Now, yeah. I didn't care if I had the car or not. I mean, I wanted it, but if it wasn't meant to be, it wasn't meant to be, so it's no big deal.
That's important.
Yep.
They make more.
Do not let them run your credit until you've got that number down, and stick to it. And take a picture of the what they said your payment's going to be, how much how much down it is, and how much the car is. So do that. Then and only then, when I went over to Jeremy, and he probably hates me, and their friggin' teeth almost fell out of their heads. I said, you're going to think I'm an asshole right now.
Which doesn't matter because they already do think you're an asshole.
I don't care. You're a dollar sign on friggin' sneakers.
Yes, you are.
I go like this. I said, Jeremy, I want to trade in my truck. And they almost lost it. They're like, you just told us you didn't want to trade in your truck. I'm like, well, if you don't want me to trade in my truck, I won't. But then I'm not going to buy the car either. And they were like backtracking. Well,
that's called hoops and making them jump through them.
Yes, so
which they don't like, and they're not used to it.
They hate it. They hate it with a passion. The sales manager came over and goes, we had a deal. I'm like, no, you had the deal. I'm not done yet. So he's like, well, we just ran all these numbers. I'm like, okay, so now just take the truck off of the the price.
They already did all the groundwork.
Yeah, they did everything. All they got to do is now subtract.
Minus the.
And I'll tell you what happens right after this. And we're back.
We are back.
So we were talking about my car buying experience, and we got to the part where were we? I just told them about the truck.
You just told them about the trade-in, yeah.
Yeah. So they were so angry.
Which they should be grateful that this is another one of the customer service. No matter what loops or trips you're throwing at them or whatever problems, they should be grateful you're in their store.
Yep.
And that's another problem I have with like it's like reverse consumerism. You know, like back in the day, stores would greet you when you walked in. They had displays in the
They do
windows.
that now.
to
Welcome to
entice-
Walmart. Get your crap and get out.
They don't do that anymore. Now they just have somebody check your receipts.
Yeah.
And they don't even do a good job of that. Half the time I walk out with my receipt ready for them, and they just go on.
Well, I like the ones that just like they're like they take your receipt and they're going like this and then they can't see anything. They're in bags.
They can't see anything. Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
have
yeah,
a great day.
You bought adult diapers and a gallon of milk.
Yes, that we can see, but you didn't see the other 4 things we stole.
But in cars and showrooms and stuff, none of that applies. You know, yeah, they'll give you a warm cup of water, but you know what? When I bought cars when I was younger, you walked in, they'd practically cook you a meal.
Yep.
They'd sit you down, you'd walk out with a toaster, whether you bought anything or not, or
Yep.
you know, they kissed your butt pretty good. Nowadays, they've worked it out to the point where they begrudge the fact that you have to come in whatsoever.
Yep.
And that's the way they make you feel. Anyways, I digress.
Oh, that's all right. So I tell them about the truck, and they're like, oh, so they go out to appraise it. Now, you could go on Kelly Blue Book, and it's only a guide. It's not guaranteed what they're going to pay.
Yeah, which will be random. Every dealer will be different.
Yes. So you go on Kelly Blue Book, and you have to if you want a good deal on a car, you have to do some legwork. You can't just walk in there and just magically think that you're going to get the best deal, because you are not.
Yeah, that's how most people get screwed.
Yep.
Most people driving around a car, 90% of them, they got screwed.
Yep.
By
So
that car.
I actually, as I was driving home, you couldn't even surgically remove the smile I had off my face. So they go out in the appraise. So you go to Kelly Blue Book. It's kbb.com. So, okay, so let's go through the steps. Number 1, get pre-approved before you even go to the dealer. That's number 1. Number 2, find the car that you want and do your research. This is, 5 years of your life.
Yeah.
Or 6
And
years,
a
unless you're going to pay
lot of
cash.
money. A lot of money.
A lot of cash. So you're going to do your homework. You're going to go into Kelly Blue Book, so you're educated. You're going to stick to your guns, no matter what. And if it's not meant for you, walk away.
Yeah.
Stick to your guns.
Get the Carfax, too.
Get the Carfax if you can. A lot of times it'll have, when you go on the person's webpage, the dealer's webpage, it'll have a stock number and the VIN number of the vehicle that you want to buy. So check it out. And then have somebody, if you're by yourself, have somebody that you can call and get you out of that element that they're putting you in, because they are sharks.
Yeah, they're isolating you. They're making you feel defenseless. They're making you. It's a tactic. It's a deliberate sales tactic that if they can sway you or sway your opinion by applying pressure on you in certain ways, making you sit in a corner or making you have 3 people tell you this is the car you want, whatever tactic it is, it's a tactic.
And for those of you that are young people, and we were young at one point, believe it or not.
Oh, God, so long ago.
The first time I went to go buy a brand new car, I used to hear, either I didn't have enough down payment or my credit wasn't perfect.
Always something.
They would say to you, this is a little bit too much car for you. I hated that.
Oh, my God. No one ever
Because
told me
that's a polite way of saying, dude,
you can't
really?
afford this.
Yeah, that was that dude saying to me, really?
You're swinging for the fences, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, but in essence, they don't know. But that's why in the beginning, when I started buying cars, I'll be like, "Hey, I got this, and I'm making this, and my credit score is this." Oh, which is another thing. Make sure you know what your credit score is before you go there. You can get TransUnion,
yeah.
Equifax, and Experian. Those are the 3. You can go and get a free credit report on all 3 of those, and you can take it with you. Now they're going to tell you. Those are consumer web pages, so we don't go by that.
Yeah, we have to run our own, which is
We have to run our own.
how they
credit.
damage your credit, which is how they make just, even if it's 50 cents more a month, by giving you 1 point lower, it doesn't matter. It's still more money a month and they win.
But here's the thing: is when they pull your credit, it's an what they call a hard inquiry.
Yeah, which
It comes off in 6 months. So don't go. Okay. When I was younger, I went to this dealer, that dealer, that dealer, that dealer, and they all ran my credit. Now you would figure that they know that you're gonna that the credit bureaus know that you're out there looking for a vehicle, and you're trying to find out which is going to be the better deal, but it's actually bad for you.
yeah, it's set up in such a way that the one thing you need it for, you can't use it for.
Right.
Because it screws you.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? Doesn't that seem a little conspiracy? That's really, yeah.
It's a BS.
Yeah, it's total BS.
So we get to the part where they're like, they're only going to give me X amount of dollars for my truck, and I'm like, well, that was the deal breaker. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, this is what I want for my truck. And they looked at me and they're like, no, it's a used truck. It's 5 years old. I'm like,
God, they're going to resell that
Yeah.
truck for 3 times the money.
and I was like, well, it had a few scratches and it wasn't perfect, and it was about time for tires.
It was a nice truck, though. It's a nice truck.
But they're like, yeah. Well, I'm like, so you can add another $4,000 to that offer, and you'll sell this car, or I'm walking out. And they're like, and the sales manager says, no, you won't.
Oh, wow. Getting cocky.
Anybody that knows me knows you do not say to me, you can't do that. You're not going to do that.
Yeah, that's. I'm surprised you didn't walk. I'm surprised you got the truck after.
So I got up. I took my paperwork and I walked out the door. To which the sales manager, I forget what his name is, Manny, maybe, comes booking out the door. Says, wait a minute, we'll do it. I'm like, nope. And he was mad. He goes, we took and gave you this, and we gave you this, and we gave you this. What else do you want from me? I'm like, I want weather floor mats.
They have them.
So he
They
looks
have
at
them
me.
in the
He goes, hang on a minute. So this is the sales manager. He goes in, he opens the car. He goes, they've got floor mats. They're brand new. They've never been used. They're right there. I'm like, I want all weather floor mats.
I want my WeatherTech. Yeah.
Yep. So his head almost exploded, and he goes, fine. So I was like, so we got a deal? He goes, yep. I said, okay. So we go in, and I says, and I'm not coming down here to Buena Park for the match. You're going to ship them to me. And he goes, okay, all right. And now, mind you, it's like 7:30, almost 8 o'clock. They close at 8 o'clock, so they're trying to get me out.
Yeah. That's
So-
what happened to me too.
So this is the cherry on the top. Boink. So it's time to sign. He's got, okay, well, this is I'm like, I know what it is. Oh, well, I have to tell you, okay, and you have to do this. And I'm like, I need an extended warranty. He goes, oh, okay. And he's like, it's $100 extra a month, but we'll do. I'm like, no, I'm only going to pay this. And he goes, you're one of those guys that go on the internet, aren't you? I'm like, you're damn right I am.
Yeah.
So then he goes, okay, here, sign here. This is the long,
Oh yeah.
the
Yeah.
long contract that took four trees to make that one page.
Yeah.
So he goes, okay, sign here. So I'm thinking, and I remember what I told Mike when he was buying his car, and I'm initialing here and signing here, and I dropped my pen down. I'm like, nope, not doing it. And he goes, no baloney. He goes, what's wrong? I'm like, I need a Ford hat.
Yep. See that right there? That's
So
why I have it.
he goes, what? I'm like, I need a Ford hat.
Yes, you do.
And he goes, literally, he goes, "You're effing kidding me, right?" But he used the word, and I'm like, "Nope."
I'm walking out with swag, and I want it now.
So he goes, "So we took $5,000 off the thing. You're only paying an extra X amount of dollars for the extended warranty. We're giving you the mats, and we're giving we just did this and we just did that, and now you want a Ford hat."
Oh yeah, I also ended up with a Subaru bottle, the kind of little metal one you unscrew. I would use it daily. It's really nice.
Yeah. So he goes, "Is that it?" I'm like, "Well, a Ford shirt would be nice, but but just give me a Ford hat." And he goes, "Okay." So he takes out they call it a due bill, and they fill it out and say, "Sign it, nothing else, right? Nothing else." And I'm like, "Well," and he goes, "Oh, come on." And by now I'm messing with him because I'm thinking, well, I've already got everything I wanted. I've gotten a ton of money off the car. I can't think of anything else at the moment.
Yeah, you're
And my stomach,
you plateaued. You're like,
my
wow.
stomach is, I'm starving. My blood sugar's plummeting. I'm like, no, that's it. How much longer? Because, I've been here a long time and I just want to get out of here. And, I was there about 2.5, 3 hours.
That's actually on the light end.
Well, because I told them, you got 2 hours to get me out of here or I'm out.
Yeah, and plus you were pre-approved too.
Right. So, we'll get back to that part in a second. So, yeah, I finally, so I signed the deal. I own the car. When they, for the credit bureau part, the TransUnion, the Equifax, and the Experian, if you go through Ford Motor Credit, they will only go through Experian. That's it. So that's some knowledge I'm dropping on you, y'all.
That's good. So what that means is if your Experian credit rating happens to be the best one out of the group, then chances are you should go to the Ford dealer or Ford. What is it? FRP. What is the Ford?
It's FOMOCO.
FOMOCO. Yeah, the Ford financing. Chevy's got one too. GMAC, right?
Yeah, GMAC.
So they all the big car dealers should have them. I think Subaru is through Chase.
Yeah.
Because that's what I go through.
So funny thing you should mention that. So the Ford Motor Credit is being really, really bitchy about I don't have perfect credit, but I have in the sevens. My Experian is high 6, which is ridiculous because I owe nobody anything.
Yeah.
Nobody.
I don't understand why there's always one.
Right.
So the Equifax for me was like 6. I think there's like a line, right? Like 690.
It's like right there, and
I
they
was
go
just
clunk.
below the line, right?
So I mean, I owe nobody nothing. I owe for the house. I owe for I owed for my truck, which was going to get paid off. And I owe for a computer, like $800 and like $100 worth of credit.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that's it.
I paid off my debt years ago. I mean, I'm in debt. You owe car payments,
Everybody, yeah.
insurance, and house payments and all that stuff. But I don't have any more credit card debts. I got rid of all of my credit cards. And everyone keeps telling me, you have to have credit card to have good rating. No,
you don't. You just have to have. But the more money you owe, the more money you're worth.
Yeah, but I don't want to owe any money.
So long story short, they're like, okay, well, we could do this % with Ford, and we could do this % with this, and we could go that % with that. And I'm like, then use who I brought in because it's lower than all of them. And he's like, well, we're direct with Ford, and I'm like, well, if Ford's higher, then I don't want to use Ford.
Yeah, because this is a good example of them trying to bully you into something that doesn't fit. That's why you need that person. You need that person you can call when they're doing it. I used him as my scapegoat, and I would go outside and we'd laugh and joke, and I'd scream just to make everyone at the Subaru dealer like cower. I didn't do it inside the Subaru dealer. I had my poor wife was embarrassed because I didn't tell her about what I was doing. But yeah, you run those guys, run them.
Yep. And so with the credit, so I was like, look, I know I have good credit. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. You guys sold the car that I wanted and I could have turned around and gone home. You try to get extra money for my truck that you would have made, not me. You try to do this and this and this and this. I'm like, you know what? You're going to use who I say, or I'm now really walking out the door. So they're like, okay. And I ended up with Chase.
Hey, right down the street.
Yeah. I could almost throw $1 at it, which I probably will. But yeah, it's a stressful thing, and you make it more stressful because, by allowing these people to do little things to you. That's why I'm saying do your homework. Have all those little things that I told you. And if you know a car dealer that from another brand, talk to them. If you have somebody in your family, a cousin, a friend,
salesmen. They're everywhere.
just ask them the little tips and tricks that you can use. I saved thousands of dollars.
Yeah, and don't feel bad. I think the one thing they do is to take an average person and make them feel like they need to do what they want them to do, and that doesn't suit you at all. That makes them happy, but you're not going to walk out happy if you're getting a crappy car at a terrible finance rate and you're paying too much a month. They get rich, but you don't.
But the thing is like everybody starts out somewhere, or everybody has a hiccup in life. Lord knows I've had a few.
Hell yeah.
Everybody has strife, and if you allow that to get, if you're looking for a car and you bring that with you, you're going to get taken advantage of, because if you really need that car, you've got no choice. Hopefully you all won't get into that situation where you are destitute or desperate for a car.
Yeah, it really pays not to be. You got to keep remember that you have choices.
But in case you have no other choice, pray about it, and just do yourself a favor and stick to your guns. Have your knowledge with you, even if you have to buy a car. Have all that stuff that I told you about with you: the pre-approval, the phone a friend.
That counts. Yeah, bring someone with you.
Yep, bring somebody with you, but somebody that's not going to go, I like this color. What do you think of this car? I like this car. When you already know what you want, do some studying on the car. Do some studying on the reviews, but the reviews are subjective, so you got to remember, look at the factual ones. Like, go onto Car and Driver and see what are there recalls on the vehicle.
I did that with the Subarus. Yep. I went through all the recalls. I originally was going to get an Outback because I like the station wagon, but they couldn't find anything. But there were so many different things that I got to learn about, like things that were wrong with the last bunch. And you got to have some knowledge. You can't go in blind.
So what you just said was golden. So do some searching on, like, if you're going to buy a Honda Civic. So do some studying online.
Great cars, by the way.
About what was wrong with the year before and the year before and the year before. And it'll tell you, okay, well, this year had a transmission problem, but last year was an exhaust smell in the cab.
And that's to your advantage, too, because now you know this. And if you're going on a car that the internet says has an exhaust smell or something like that, you throw that out to your dealer, and he's going to look at you like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
They know. They're not dumb. They know a little something.
But that they said that to me many times. And this is you're one of those
Yeah, but the one out of the 10,000.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they make money left and right.
Look, as well as I do, we really work hard for our money.
Yes, we do.
And we'll be right back.
I get to pee this time.
But it is a very, very tricky and underhanded trade. I would never want to sell cars.
No, it's got to be one that, if you're a good person, it's got to be one that screws with your soul, because You
But
don't want.
there are good salesmen.
Oh, yeah,
but
they're-
I don't think they last.
I don't think so either. They end up moving on to hopefully better, bigger, better things so they can make a difference.
Although this dude Jeremy, he was a real good guy. He's probably like laughing all the way to the bank. He probably got over on me on something.
Yeah.
But you know, it was the way he did it. It's like,
You know, as funny as that sounds, it comes down to that a lot.
yeah.
At least it's this person that helped me, and they were okay. I guess it's okay to get screwed by this person.
But that first dude, man, just was like, yeah, right. I mean, that's customer service.
Yeah, there very little of that anymore.
Yeah. So that wasn't customer. That was poor customer service. But customer service is the next thing that we wanted to talk to you about.
Now, I grew up in a world where customers were to be given the benefit of the doubt and respect. That is not the world we live in anymore.
Negative.
I'm sure there are places that cling to that ideal, and hopefully I will find them one day because I really miss them. But we are all now shopping cattle. And the reason why you have these giant mega stores and box stores is so you can stuff as much cattle into these stores with 500 checkout lanes. So as cattle go, we can go pick out our hay, pay for it, and get out to the pasture before, they overflow.
Yeah, and to stick as many people in there at one time and make as much money per minute as they possibly can.
That's an actual thing. Most places go by UPT, which is units per transaction. So they have a way of monitoring everything now they have a way of monitoring everything we buy.
How about your cell phone as you're driving to work? Every once in a while, my cell phone, if you don't turn off certain things, used to say alternative route to go to work.
Yeah, I get that. Or mine in my car tells you there's a walking route. I guess Subaru. Really
Yeah, like I'm going to walk 18 miles to go to work.
Exactly. And there's a biking trail, and then there's like the car one is the last.
I wish it would have said, hey, don't go to
on
this
there.
car dealer.
Yeah. Well, maybe it will now.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe the car is the only one with any car or customer service anymore.
However, that car does tell me, I'm amazed at the technology.
Yeah, the technology is amazing.
That car tells me the gas prices everywhere around here. It tells me where to eat.
What the speed limit is on the street you're
Yes,
driving on, right?
but just to tell me, how far if I want to pay, was it like $12 a gallon now?
18, yeah.
So if it's like 11.95, 9. So okay, so that's a whole different thing.
But mine will tell me when mine gets to like 3/4 or like a quarter of a tank. It'll on the satellite or the what do they call it, the
GPS.
GPS will start telling me gas prices. Hey, you might want to think about filling back. It's really funny.
Yeah, it's amazing. All this technology that goes into it. But
Does yours have where the active control where you're not supposed to, so don't do it, but you can for a few minutes take your hand
Yes.
off the steering wheel. I mean, they want it on there because the computer's not perfect yet, so there are times where it just, and this is something they don't tell you, it just automatically says off. And if you're not holding that wheel, there's no one steering that car. So, yeah, you got to keep your hands on it. But it's kind of neat for the first second or two.
yeah,
just to,
mine has lane assist or whatever.
so it beeps and blind spot assist. I like the blind spot one. That is actually really good.
Yep.
I think age-wise, as we get older and more decrepit, I think we've got the technology on our side.
On our side, yeah.
Not like our grandmas and grandpas, like they were all 30, 20, 50 years too late. But you and I, we might actually be able to drive successfully to our 90s if we live, just because computers tell us not to crash into anything.
Yep, we could have the hearse automatically bring us to where we're going.
Just first off, it's going to be an electric powered hearse,
Yeah.
which is really weird because I guess they don't.
You know what they need to do? They could make it carbon propelled, so you'll have the crematorium in the back.
Oh yeah,
and it'll drive you to the.
That's a great idea. As they cremate us, they generate enough power
Yep.
to charge the.
Yep. And then
Grease.
you go right to the.
I love
and then
it.
they just like like a dump truck. Just go like this, and you're in the hole.
You are. It
Or
just
they can
dump-
sprinkle you, on the 405.
Just there it is. You power the car, right? You charge the battery, and then as they're driving, there's an electric leaf blower
Yeah.
that just blows your ashes out all over everywhere.
Yep.
That's what we need to do, all in one.
Yeah, it says get your ash out of here. Oh well,
Well, what do you say? What else we got on there?
that's about it. Except for the guests that we're going to be having.
Guests. We're actually going to have guests, and not Roger too.
Yes,
But Mr. Don's got some special guests.
Yeah, so we have another. I'm just double checking here because I just no, that's not the one. But I just we do have a buddy of mine, Jazz McKay.
Jazz McKay. Now that is a name.
Jazz McKay.
Hey, Jazz McKay here.
So he's actually a radio on-air personality.
He's got a personality, like a professional personality.
Yes. He's been all around the world or the United States on the radio in different venues and different formats and all that stuff.
That's really cool. That's something both your radio career you're telling me about. I find fascinating.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I bet it is. It's got to be a good job.
And then he's a right winger, so it'd be.
Yeah, be ready. There's some Trump loving
He's
coming.
a Trump loving, yeah. But he's a great guy. Very nice guy. Lives up in the Bakersfield area.
Yeah, I try not to judge. I wait till I get to know the person. I'm not a big Trump fan, but I've met people that I just absolutely love and adore that are Trump fans. So I've chosen to like the people and to learn how to live with our differences, which I think is a good lesson for everybody.
Well, that's a California way. It's just like just everybody needs to just like accept. I accept that I accept that you like one candidate, I like another one, but what does that got to do with
Nothing to do with our day to day.
Nope.
Whoever's in that White House office, I got to tell you, it really.
You're all idiots.
Yeah, it really doesn't affect my
You're all up there with Alec Baldwin. Sorry, I'm coming back to Alec Baldwin.
Actually, I wouldn't mind seeing Alec Baldwin in the office up there. I think he would blend in just as well as Tricky Dick, as Joe Biden and Trump. I think he'd do just as well in there.
Yeah.
Because in the end, it really doesn't make it. To me, it makes no difference. You could have. Really, honestly, the last president to make a difference in my life was Eisenhower, and that's because he built the roads.
Yep.
So now I can go take road trips if I want.
I wouldn't mind giving it a shot because I hear once you're president, you're going to be rich for the rest of your life.
You can write book deals, and they tour, right? And they talk. Mm-hmm. They get hundreds of thousands of dollars.
They paint pictures.
That's true. You could do that, actually.
Yeah.
I draw like stick figures and charge people $1 million for them.
They do all kinds of stuff. I mean, Bill Clinton, he's still, out with the ladies.
What was up with him?
And this ain't the 80s.
Didn't he just get out of the hospital?
Yes, he did. He had some kind of UTI. Figure that one out.
He had a urinary tract infection?
He did.
Where did he have his urinary tract?
Well, he was probably tracking it somewhere where it shouldn't have been.
Through the mud, I think.
Yeah, and they got Robert Kraft in Florida for the anyways. So we have Jazz McKay coming soon. We have another edition
Roger.
of Ask Roger. And
Our track-suited, ever beloved Filipino brother, man.
yeah, our male nurse.
Hell yeah.
But you know what? He actually loves being on this.
Yeah, he does, and he's a hell of a.
So we may not only just ask Roger about medical issues. He may just hang out with us.
Well, I want to hear not just medical stuff, but he's a dad. He's been around. He's a man. He's got his opinions. I want to hear some real stuff from Roger. So we'll talk about things that annoy him too.
And he also said that he called me one day and said, why don't we talk about family and the ups and downs of family? So we're going to probably tell him to take his little nurse's cap off and put the dad cap on. And we'll talk about family.
Yeah, I'm good with
I
that.
think that would be a lot of fun.
I think he's got a pretty good family.
He's got a really great family. I know all of them, so yeah, we'll do that.
I'm biased, but I really think my family's the best.
No, my family's best.
It's the best.
I know that car dealer's family ain't the best.
That's true. And you know what we
or
do
Alec
know?
Baldwin's family ain't.
We do know that all of our and stuff with Don and Mike followers are family.
Yes.
And they are the best.
They are the best.
All 47 of them?
46 and a half.
46 and a half.
Yep.
What's up, Michi?
Yep.
Yeah, so join our thing and you're part of the clique, guys.
Yep.
Hey, click to be a part of the clique.
Yes. But before we go, we're going to remind you one more time that we're in the process of doing stuff.
Yeah.
With Don and Mike out there.
We're going to tell you this again.
Yeah, we're going to
Because
keep
we
telling
mean
you
it.
until
we actually do it.
So we have a couple of ideas. I bought an old pickup truck
He did.
from a good buddy of ours who's now long gone.
Classic pickup truck.
It's a 1976
Camper Special
Chevy. GMC with a big 400 engine in it. That's like a Tim Allen thing. 400 engine.
Yeah, it's actually it's the original motor too.
Yep.
And it came with AC, so it's actually
Yep. So it needs a little bit of work.
a little bit.
It runs, drives. I just drove it yesterday, 2 days ago. Not too much, but I want to work out all the bells and whistles.
It goes. I've driven it before. It drives nice.
Yeah.
It's when you get it in low, it's stiff. That thing is like it'll beat the crap out of you, but it's really
I
good.
love that. So it's an old 1976 4-wheel drive truck.
Back where men were men and sheep were afraid.
Yep. And so I'm gonna name it Surviving It.
Surviving it.
And there's a reason behind that. And as we get through it, we'll
we'll let you in on that.
Yep. And we're probably gonna do some plumbing. We're probably gonna do a little bit of electrical.
Yeah, basic, simple stuff. Just start y'all guys off with, and you want to get to the advanced things.
Yep.
With the plumbing stuff, we're going to show you how you can run. We'll have PEX, PVC, maybe a little copper. Teach you how to sweat, how to put stuff together with shark bite fittings. Have you ever heard of that before? You'll enjoy it. It'll be educational.
And how many times are you moving and you're carrying that big thing up the stairs and bam, you put the corner right through the wall? We're going to show you how to do a quick drywall patch.
Oh my God, yes, thank you. Because I suck at drywall. I'll be the first to admit it. I don't know if I have the patience to just put mud, sand, then
Well,
paint.
I do it without sanding. So I'll show you how to do it, and I'll show you how to do it. And because I don't like to breathe in the dust.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm looking around your beautiful home here, and I don't see any dings in the wall, so you must be good at it.
I try. I really try because I don't like things in the walls. So, well, with that, Mike.
And with that,
Yep.
Don,
We will talk to you later.
we'll see you. Good night. Hugs and kisses. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Yep. Take care. Hey, be safe out there, kids.
Yeah, no razor blades, no
Yeah.
candy, no poisons, no nothing.
Wear your mask.
Bring your flashlight. Stay in groups.
Yep. And wait a minute. You're not supposed to talk to strangers.
That's true.
How can you go trick or treating if you have no strangers?
Well, you can eat their candy. No one said you can't eat strangers' candy,
Oh, okay.
Which is-
Just don't talk to them.
which is really bad.
So how do you go trick or treat?
You know what? You just run up to the door and yell, "Trick or treat! Smell my feet. Give me something good to eat."
And then throw a brick right through their window.
Yeah, or some
so you
toilet
grab the
paper.
whole bowl.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Make sure you get all that damn candy.
This is all bonus feed
Yeah,
footage.
Please do
Don't
not
do
throw
that.
a brick through
Don't do
anybody's
that.
windows.
Don't do that.
Do not steal candy. You will go to jail.
Yeah. But they were giving it. Why should you arrest me for taking it?
Listen to Uncle Don, Uncle Mike. We'll
Yeah.
tell you. Don't do it.
We're corrupting you.
Yeah, but go to Baskin Robbins, get some chocolate peanut butter ice cream.
Yeah,
It's just amazing.
Yeah. All right, guys. Have a great one. Bye-bye.